Someone make it make sense.
Probably a couple.
Y'all, I have to say, I think it's amazing that when you're like me and you know nothing about technology and you have no idea what you're doing, that between using StreamYard and YouTube and all the issues, it can't get times right oftentimes on the live stream. But I love that the redirect works. Like, that is so fancy to me. Like, wow. And it's very convenient. So I love that it works. I love that it worked. Woohoo! Okay, so now we don't have to worry about missing any movement of the fan because we just love this fan so much, apparently, is what the deal is. So I mean, it looks like it's moving. So I'm not going to pull anything else up because I know we all want to just watch for this fan. So we'll just hang out here and we'll just chat. We could sing songs. But I'm going to leave this on the screen, I think, so that we don't have to worry about it. Because I know what it's like. It's really funny. It's like, I feel it's all the times that I've been watched millions of other trials with on other channels, right? And I can't even tell. You are unmuted. Oh God, never mind. I'm shut up. I'm going to be quiet.
Thank you. Be seated. Closing session.
22-117 Commonwealth versus Karen Reed.
All right, the jury is at an impasse. So we'll bring them in.
Now is where we can put all of our new knowledge to use, because what's she going to do? She can ask them if they can do a verdict on one or two. I'm talking because I know that they're getting the jury, by the way. I'm not going to talk over anything happening because they probably got another 10 seconds or so. Herding them in. All right, here we go. Fucking hell. Guys, I have myself on.
All right, Mr. Foreman, I am in receipt of your note. Judge Cannoni, despite our rigorous efforts, we continue to find ourselves at an impasse. Our perspectives on the evidence are starkly divided. Some members of the jury firmly believe that the evidence surpasses the burden of proof, establishing the elements of the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. Conversely, others find the evidence fails to meet this standard and does not sufficiently establish the necessary elements of the charges. The deep division is not due to a lack of effort or diligence, but rather a sincere adherence to our individual principles and moral convictions. To continue to deliberate would be futile and only serve to force us to compromise these deeply held beliefs. I'm not going to do that to you folks. Your service is complete. I'm declaring a mistrial in this case. I'll be in to see you privately in a few minutes. So thank you so much for your service. Okay.
All rise for the court, please.
Dr. Bob, what do you think? Are you shocked? Because that didn't go at all like how we were reading about at all. It's a mistrial, like normal.
Thank you. Be seated. Close the session.
Let's see what happens.
All right. I'd like to pick a status date to find out what our next move is. So I'd like to come back sometime maybe the end of July. I understand people have vacation schedules. Can we come in the week of the 21st?
That's fine.
do the 22nd at 2 p.m., Your Honor? And I would appear for my client.
Right, is there another day that week? Could you do the 25th or 26th?
Unfortunately, I think I'm supposed to leave for vacation on the 25th.
Okay, the 22nd and the 24th are not great dates. So
What about the 19th at 9? Is that whole week?
no, that week's not good. Teaching that I cannot get out of.
Can we do August 7th, 8th, 9th? Any of those days?
No, we'll do the 22nd. We'll go back to the 22nd at 2. I can't let it go that long.
Your Honor, so the court knows, Ms. Little and I are not available on the 22nd. We have a hearing in Los Angeles on the 22nd.
Okay.
We're proposing to appear remotely anyway.
Okay.
But for a status conference, I don't want the court to think it's disrespectful to the court, but Ms. Little and I probably will not.
Okay. So you and your client will be here in person, Ms. Giannetti.
Yes.
All right. All right. Thank you. We'll see you then.
All rise.
Oh my God.
And now we have an official ruling in the Karen Reed murder trial. It is a mistrial declared. And you see
Okay.
there Karen Reed hugging her father
I'm-
shaking. Alan Jai is attorney David Yannetti.
Hold on,
And
guys.
you can see off with their backs turned, that would be the O'Keefe family.
Hold on, guys. Okay, so can you guys hear me? It should be that I just muted it so that hold on just a second here. Okay, it should be that it's muted so that if they do any interviews, I don't know that the attorneys will speak. If there's anything that happens afterwards, we'll see it and then I can go and unmute it. So that way we can just still see what's happening here. So wow. Okay, so we spent a lot of time talking about things that didn't end up coming to fruition here, which is interesting. I'm glad my brain doesn't have to try to work that out anymore. But she didn't even do the thing where she asked the questions about they're still just sitting there. Are they in shock? She didn't even do the thing where she asked about if they had a verdict on any of the charges, and we're back to the fan. I'm assuming they're going to keep covering it though, in case there's anything else that does happen. Let's see. Yeah. So they'll be on top of it though, if there's interviews or what have you. Yeah. So now we have answers. There wasn't any of that other half mistrial, half not anything. I mean, she didn't even poll them on what, where they were hung, like how many. I don't think they'll get a different judge. The only way that would happen is if the defense makes a motion to have her, recused or removed from the case, which I think they already tried to do. Did they try to do that already? Again, that would have been a pretrial motion that I didn't follow. I just feel like I heard that, and it seems like they probably did because that would make sense. And I'm sure somebody would know. Yeah, I wonder if she's going to, yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. So I don't know that they're going to have any better luck trying to do that again, but I will say you can tell that the foreperson is incredibly diplomatic, and I wouldn't be entirely surprised if it was even just one holdout, but that they didn't say that to not make the one person feel bad. You know what I mean? Just to try to not make, try not to ostracize. They clearly have enough respect for the other side, whoever, whatever the split is. It seems like there's it seems like what they're unanimous about is respecting each other's convictions and strongly held beliefs you know? Right. They will have more options now that there's a mistrial. So while we know they have a year to decide if they're going to retry it, that next status hearing, I'm so shocked. I didn't even hear when it was. Was it this month? Did anyone catch that? When they're going to meet up again? Because, I mean, that's my guess is that's when the Commonwealth will say if they're going to retry it or not. Like, that's the point of that, right? It's like it goes back to square one, right? What does she call it? A status conference? Like they do in Brian Coburger, right? Like that's pre-trial language. It's incredible. Okay, the 22nd. All right. I'm curious what she's saying. Let me unmute it real quick. I'm just to see. I'm curious here.
The relief of the jurors when the judge declared this mistrial. There's been one juror who has been crying on a regular basis when she goes into the courtroom.
So we're gonna cut in and listen to Alan Jackson.
Wow, just in the nick of time. Holy shit! All right, there we go, guys. Glad I unmuted. I was wondering. All right, here we go.
Okay, we can't seem to hear it. We are recording this right now. Of course, we'll get it to you. Sue, continue to talk to me about the relief that you say the jurors felt. Or at least
I mean, they have been a pretty poker-faced looking crowd all through. I mean, occasionally, as we've been reporting on Canton Confidential, we see faces, they make motions, and we can only, guess what we think that is based on our human experience. But today, they actually came in looking bleary-eyed, looking like they had the weight of the world on their shoulders. And when they came in this afternoon, there was absolutely no doubt about it that they had tried as hard as they could. Everyone in the courthouse, all the people that I have talked to, have talked about how hard this jury has worked and that there should be in no way, shape, or form any look at that they didn't complete the task that was given to them for whatever reason. Obviously, we will learn more about what went on in the jury room when we find out who the jurors were. Some of them would like to talk to us, but they definitely, there was a feeling of relief. And also, some jurors looked really pained when they were walking out. Certainly, again, we don't know what the issue was. We don't know how many people are split. But they walked out feeling, I think, by looking at them, that they had worked really hard. Some of them were pained and looked disappointed that they didn't get to the conclusion that they were hoping for, JC.
Sue, what about the O'Keefe family? I could see Mrs. O'Keefe in the background. She's been emotional, but not overly so. I imagine that she saw this coming, as we all sort of did, based on the note that was sent to the judge on Friday and then again this morning. But did you get any sense from the O'Keefe family what this verdict meant to them?
I saw them when they walked into the courtroom, JC. I didn't get...
I'm just muting it again real quick. So I will say, with what just happened here, where it's just a flat out mistrial, again, the Commonwealth can choose whether to bring charges or not. And so in this case, they could choose to not bring a second-degree murder charge. They totally could choose that. That would make a lot more sense. I mean, I don't think they should bring anything, but they could, the Commonwealth could choose not to go for second-degree murder. Totally could. So yeah. But it's interesting because it wasn't like an automatic, she didn't even go through that step like we covered about asking if they can have a verdict on any of the counts. So... okay, let's see what this reporter say, because clearly, obviously, she's there, whoever it is, Sue O'Connell. Shout out to Sue.
That John O'Keefe is the victim here. He died tragically, and at this moment, we're not going to know why, and at this moment, no one is being held accountable, JC.
Sue, stay right there. We have Michael Coyne, our legal expert, on the phone. Michael, Judge Cannoni did say that they would reconvene July 22nd at 2 p.m. to figure out what comes next. So you tell us, what comes next in something like this?
Well, the prosecution will have to decide whether they want to retry her or not, and I expect that they will decide to retry her. It's the death of a police officer, and the prosecution feels strongly that their case is correct, that they've got the right defendant. And so then the question becomes, will the defense attorneys be able to come back? Can they fit it into their schedule? The financial issue becomes a question as well. And then ultimately, how do their schedules all work as to when this might be retried. There's always the possibility that the government might decide not to pursue a second trial. I don't think that's likely. There's also an unlikely possibility that they could strike a deal as well. Again, I think that's an unlikely possibility here, JC.
Let me just ask you, how much say does the O'Keefe family have when it comes to the
None.
prosecution's decision whether or
None.
not to retry?
Not a lot. I think obviously the district attorney would take into account
Yeah.
their feelings, but either whether they were strongly one way or the other wouldn't necessarily be dispositive. As the chief law enforcement officer for Norfolk County, he has a responsibility to everyone involved to really take a hard look at the case and see whether it makes sense to go forward again.
I know.
All
I
right,
agree.
Michael, joining me now on the set is Glenn
Yeah.
Jones. Glenn, as you heard, that has been declared officially a mistrial, which is where we were leading based on the jury's note to Judge Cannone on Friday late in the day, and then this morning, and then here we are, 2:30, they came in and declared yes.
I suppose at this point, we can't be entirely surprised that this
No.
is where things ended, especially with how eloquent and articulate the notes were from the jury. And here we go.
I think also, guys, if they go for all the same charges again, I think the odds are likely that they will get a not guilty verdict. I think that's why Karen was smiling just then, because again, the mistrial was better for them than a guilty verdict. And this is so crazy, but and it's going to cost another fortune, right? But I think they will get not guilty. I mean, the odds of that happening twice just seems so slim to none, right? I mean, it seems slim to none even now. Okay, let's just see what they're saying. If there's anything, we got this dude again.
Boil it down to the essential parts of the case as they see it, which should be the excessive drinking, the driving, and then obviously tying his
They can't even
death
prove that,
more
though.
closely to
Oh my
her
God.
actions than they did in this case, in all likelihood. The fact is that the jury must have struggled with some of these issues, and so the government gets a chance to have a do-over here and fix
I heard
the
that too,
mistakes they
Christmas.
made. To me, this is a win for the government simply because the defendant's resources were likely drained at this point. Most of us thought
They've
this
already
would likely
raised-
be a not guilty verdict. So to have the chance to correct the
This dude-
mistakes that we saw during the first trial, this is it.
I don't remember who CSN or Dr. Bob, but somebody put, I think in the Discord, that they've already raised another like $500,000 almost for her defense. And by now it's probably even more. So he clearly doesn't know about that, I would say.
10 courtroom insider Sue O'Connell braving the weather conditions there for us, Sue.
It was sunny earlier.
We've been talking on Canton Confidential about the likelihood that this jury had to wade through so much evidence. And of course, that is still true.
He's
But I
not gonna
wonder,
he's
Sue,
not gonna
what
abandon
you
her.
think was happening in that jury room now that we know that people were kind of
Right,
dug in on
right,
their
right.
personal beliefs and the rhetorical
Probably over
arguments that
500,000
must
now.
have been ensuing inside that jury room.
Right. What we heard, Glenn, from the juror's note, right, was that it wasn't about the evidence. It was a different interpretation of the evidence. It was, if I remember what they said correctly, that some felt it met the.
I will say, as far as the drunk driving, we went over all those elements to prove that from 2 nights ago. We broke down every charge and with the jury instructions. And I don't think they even have that because they explicitly stated that the blood alcohol level alone is not enough to prove it. The blood test alone. And so besides that, you have witness testimony, and everybody said she seemed like normal and not drunk and not even intoxicated. And then I even pointed out too that like when she calls and leaves us voicemails, she's not slurring her speech, anything. So if the blood test alone is not enough and everything else is like she wasn't even tipsy, basically, I don't think they can even prove that. So
split. But, and I also think that the foreman was also being somewhat diplomatic by the way that the letters were written, the notes were written. We can't intuit what the numbers are there. So having said that, saying someone has, or some jurors have, a deeply held conviction, I'm wondering if that was something that maybe should have been vetted out during the voir dire.
Yeah, right. I
of
know.
the witnesses. For example, I'm a commentator, so I can tell you this. I'm against the death penalty. So I would be unable to serve on a jury if death penalty was on the table. That's fine. That's the law of the land, but I
They
would
said
be
they were
going
gonna
to
play it.
So I'm curious to find out what this strongly held conviction
But I can
is
try.
that one or more jurors have. And I'm also just really very curious to find out if it breaks down between a not guilty versus guilty, or if there were some of the lesser charges that really broke it up, Glenn and JC.
All right, Sue, thank you very much. Now we want to just go out to what the defense had to say when they walked out
Excellent.
of court.
All right, there we
So you
go.
take a
Here we
listen
go.
in, as well as our viewers here.
Okay.
Judge Canoni, despite our rigorous efforts, we continue to find ourselves at an impasse. Our perspectives on the evidence are starkly divided. Some members of the jury firmly believe that the evidence surpasses the burden of proof, establishing the elements of the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. Conversely, others find the evidence fails to meet this standard and does not sufficiently establish the necessary elements of the charges. The deep division is not due to a lack of effort or diligence.
They're
but
probably
rather a
playing this
sincere
while they
adherence
pull up,
to our
while they get
individual
the interview
principles
thing
and
queued up or
moral
whatever.
convictions.
No, they just said they're going to play
To
it.
continue
They
to
just said they're going to play
deliberate would be futile and only serve to force us to compromise these deeply held beliefs. I'm not going to do that to you folks. Your service is complete. I'm declaring a mistrial in this case.
Folks, this is what it looks like when you bring false charges against an innocent person. The Commonwealth did their worst. They brought the weight of the state
They did do their
based
worst,
on spurious
okay.
charges, based on compromised investigation and investigators and compromised witnesses. This is what it looks like. And guess what? They failed. They failed miserably, and they'll continue to fail. No matter how long it takes, no matter how long they keep trying, we will not stop fighting. We have no quit. Go ahead.
I just have two things to say, folks.
Wow.
Number one, I am in awe of the strength and courage of this remarkable client that I've had the privilege of representing
Aww.
since day one. And number two, I want to send a message to all of her supporters out there. Your support was invaluable. We are touched, and we ask for your continued support.
Yeah.
I'm not from Texas like my colleague here. I'm a Boston kid, but I'll repeat what he said, which is, we ain't got no quit.
There you were hearing from the defense team, both David Yannetti and Alan Jackson, which, by the way, Alan Jackson is based out of Los Angeles. Whether or not he will continue on the case, there was a reporter who yelled that out. We don't know, but we just did get this press release in from the district attorney's office that did say, we thank the O'Keefe family for their commitment and dedication to this long process. They maintain sight of the true core of this case to find justice for John O'Keefe. And Glenn, of course, the most important line is the last one. The Commonwealth intends to retry this case.
So that statement is significant for two reasons, JC. Of course, the last point that you made, they intend to retry this case. They believe they have a winnable case. And the second is, we haven't heard from the state since this trial began because they stay quiet during the process of the trial. Now that the trial is over, we're hearing from them, and they at minimum have enough confidence to try this case again.
We will see how they will do it again. Judge Canoni has July 22nd down. So we really have.
So first of all, I have to say, I really like his jacket. It looks very nice. The other thing is that I don't find it as significant as he did that was what was said in the press release. It's a press release. Of course, they're going to say that. That remains to be seen. They haven't had a chance as an office to talk about it. And I will add to that the fact that Alan Jackson and Miss Little already had other things on their calendar back in California. Just goes to show that they were expecting I would imagine they were expecting a verdict, you know what I mean? To where they went ahead and scheduled other shit. And I bet Lolly was also expecting a verdict. And so anyway, I wouldn't put too much stock in him saying that they intend to retry it in the press release. We'll wait to see what happens when they do their little hearing. So
all of this, what is your initial reaction right now?
My initial reaction was there wasn't a guilty sentence in there. Out of the 12 people that were in there, they couldn't find enough people to find her guilty. And it was a mistrial, not because of illegal for not because they couldn't convince 12 people that Karen Reed is guilty.
Is that for you, or is this what you expected? What's going through your mind?
My initial expectation was automatic, not guilty. But as we learned this case, nothing happens the way it's supposed to happen. So am I satisfied with with the mistrial right now? Yes. But do I want more? Absolutely.
Now, what are you looking forward to moving forward? Where do things go for your movement from here? I know a lot of people have been saying they're going to stand by Karen no matter what happens.
Yeah. As far as our movement goes, we are going to stand by Karen. We do have some more work to do. We learned a lot of stuff that happened during this trial within the Mass State Police and the Norfolk District Attorney's Office, and we're going to move forward with that.
I've also been speaking with a lot of people in the group, and a lot of them do not think that this case is going to be retried. Have you put thought into that? Is that something that you would like to see happen, not happen? Where are we on that point?
I don't think the case will be retried. There's not enough evidence. There's a lot of money for the state. They're probably going to lose some of their key witnesses for some of their behavior. What I really want to see happen is to reopen the case and find the true killers of Officer John O'Keefe.
Paul, thank you. I appreciate it. We'll catch up with you in a little bit. I do also want to add that there were a number of people here earlier today opposing those in the Free Karen Reed movement. A lot of them saying they also wanted Justin.
So Super Planner Girl is asking a good question. She's asking, I hadn't even thought about this because, again, I was expecting a verdict, just like everybody, that in the possibility of a new trial, do I plan to continue to hold off on outside research? I had not thought about it. God, I don't know, man. I don't know. Probably not. Because we know, all of us who kind of held off on that, we had the benefit of seeing this case presented as jurors, right? And I think at this point, going into a new trial, we already can't have that because we've watched this trial, right? If that makes sense. Like, we're already in a way unable to, we're in a different position now. Like, when the next trial starts, if they do bring charges again, we no longer have that learning things for the first time with the jury anyway. So yeah, I think I would be fine with it. Are you asking, can I share it or? Right. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So, yeah, so I'm definitely not opposed to it. I think it's probably the natural next thing to know more about it. The other thing I will say is I could also start to go back and cover, pretrial hearings and pretrial motions from before this trial. Because you know how I love covering hearings and motions. And I like that actually really interests me. I would say before trying to learn more about a potential conspiracy or whatever, I would rather first go back and look at all of what happened in the court, right? With hearings, with court documents, anything that is out there. And more of it might get released now that was related to this trial. But I would kind of rather go that route. And then afterwards, if there's still more time, then maybe, look into the other things, other shenanigans, if that makes sense.
Charges against someone, they should. And if whatever, there should be more sunlight there as well so that we are able to see what the results of that investigation has revealed. Because it has brought a real problem and an atmosphere to this case that has made it difficult, I think, for both the defendant and the prosecution to be able to try their case completely effectively.
You're stuck with us.
May well have contributed to the deadlock that we have here.
Okay, Michael, thank you. In a moment, we'll ask you about finding an impartial jury for this retried case, because that could be a challenge. We'll find out, I'm sure. Let's go to NBC 10's Mary Marcos, who's also covering reaction to this mistrial ruling from Judge Beverly Cannoni.
Yes.
Mary, what are you hearing?
I like that jacket.
When that ruling came down, the crowd erupted in cheers. The police have now blocked off.
That's crazy because I'm like,
we can't really get much further down than that because they are trying to protect the identity of the jurors who are now being sent home. Legal experts telling me that the prosecution will now have to make a decision, and we've heard from the statement from the DA's office, they do intend to retry Karen Reed, but legal experts told me that they expected to hear that. Whether or not they will actually retry Karen Reed, they had mixed opinions on. Either way, they will have to do that within a year from today. That's Massachusetts state law that they have to do that within a year. Within the Manuel Lopes case where we saw with police officer Michael Chesna out of Weymouth, that happened within about 6 months. So either way, we will be seeing more of this within the next coming months, and we will be hearing possibly from the jurors themselves. Legal experts say they couldn't decide to come forward with what happened in that courtroom. What were the discussions? Where did they get hung up? So we could hear from them. We'll have a lot more to dig into in this. For now, we're live in Dedham. Mary Marcos, NBC 10 Boston.
Hey, Mary, before you run, I just want to ask, we know there's been a 200-foot buffer zone around the courthouse.
Okay, so let me mute it again.
Trial. Are you saying?
So here's one thing I will say. That I'm in a different position now than I have been with other things because of the fact that I haven't learned about this from anything else. And like, I've been covering it, and I covered the whole trial, and we still have to finish the recaps. We'll do that. We'll finish the recaps. But it's interesting because in doing that, you get to kind of choose how you want to go about it. You know what I mean? And like, leading up to Murdoch, like I knew about that. I knew about those murders when it first happened, but of course that was before I was doing anything related to law on my YouTube channel. I was just doing music, as usual. And never ever thought that I would be maybe doing this myself. So, of course I was like listening to Mandy Matney and all the different people, right, to learn about Murdoch. And, like I always call myself a self-proclaimed Murdoch scholar, and I watched the trial live, as y'all know. And so going back to cover the trial, I'm bringing in everything that I know about it, which came from other people and came from all those things. Like I mentioned, it's different here because I have the opportunity to go about covering it in any way. You know what I mean? So like, whereas I could go and, learn from other people and how they covered it. I kind of like the idea of being able to just do my own coverage and okay, what am I trying to say? Like the way, like the Murdoch style, right? That's how I love to cover things. It's like combining like the trial and all the court shit with like just squirrely detective stuff, and thinking it through logically. And y'all were there. Dr. Bob wasn't there, but we have a playlist for that. The Murdoch deep dive. So in other words, I could take that same approach here, right? With the coverage here for Karen Reed, where it's like going through again, like all the prior court filings, pretrial motions, hearings, and forming, I still like the idea of forming my own, I don't want to say opinions, but presenting things, to you guys and as our lost world community, in a way that resonates with, our sensibilities. And I'm not saying that Brandy Church, I honestly, I've only heard great things about her, but it's like, rather than like, for me, if I'm going to spend my time doing something, I can do it myself, like that just was never something I even thought would be happening. If that makes sense. So I might just try to kind of do my own deep dive on it, but we'll put Trooper Paul off. So Fender needs to go to bed. Yeah, well, so I mean that's the thing, right? Like that's the first way to have a better understanding from like what else is out there, because it's official and it's on the record and it's verified. And as y'all know, there's a lot of speculation, there's a lot of rumors, there's a lot of other stuff regarding this case, especially more than other cases, that may or may not be verified, may or may not be true, right? So I would want to be really careful about how I go about vetting that stuff. But I feel like you have to start with what was on the record. You know what I mean? And then from there you can branch out. And I definitely will check it out for sure. Oh, did you, whatever happened with that interview, Fender, that you had? Did you hear back from them? Yeah, the new trial, they have a year to officially come out and say, are they, wait, oh, hold on. Let's unmute it. Are they having trouble with their feed? Hold on.
Keith's mother is coming down, and they have been obviously through this trial every single day.
Go crazy, Fender. Go for it.
And they walk out, and obviously you don't need to.
I don't know why.
They are heavy. They have also been through an enormous amount of.
Okay. The idea that we're going to have to do the trial again is
the shot is breaking up a little bit, so we will come back to you.
It wasn't me.
I appreciate the fact that you're remembering John O'Keefe and all of this, and
that was them.
Family, and where really thoughts should be with is the man who lost his life at a mere 46 years old on that day. We want to bring in our legal analyst one more time, Michael Coyne. Michael, there's no question. This is a high profile.
So yeah. Okay. So, anyway, I just didn't know if there was going to be another interview or whatever. So yeah. So, yeah, y'all feel free to do whatever. You guys are awesome. And I know y'all are not, I know you guys, I trust you guys. And I know that y'all are careful. And if you hear something that might not be true entirely, then I know y'all will say it. So I don't know what Fox Mulder is, but thank you, Super Planner Girl. Absolute. Of course. Yeah, of course, guys. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because you guys are so great. You're always like, if you're something that's not confirmed, you know, you guys say, go for it. Of course. Yeah. Yeah. I trust you guys. Oh, the X-Files. Oh, okay. Awesome. Right. I've heard of it. Never seen it, but I've heard of it. Scully. Yeah, that name rings a bell too. So, oh, gotcha. Okay. Cool. I love that. I love that. Yeah, absolutely. I know you guys are very, very good about that. So God, though, I really hope we don't have to do another trial. Like, I would rather be able to I would rather them just dismiss the charges and we can continue doing pre-trial shit after we finish the current trial shit, like the recaps. I mean, to have to think of y'all, the hours we're going to have to listen to Lolly again. Like, that's the main thing for me. I can't do it. I don't think I can do it for another trial with that. Ugh. Yeah, Stubborn is putting it nicely. I know. It's ugh. Yeah, idiotic is also nice. Wow. I don't even know. This is insane. This is so insane. Wow, what a day. So here's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to go get some other things done as well. And it is 3:14 p.m. Did you think it was earlier or later? And I will keep an eye out in case there's anything else breaking on this. But I mean, we already heard from people we wanted to hear from. And Dr. Bob, you can leave it there, or you can copy and paste it into the Squirrel Crew. I'm glad you found the Squirrel Crew page. I'm assuming I haven't been on Discord since earlier when I was reading all that stuff, but you're welcome. You know, I still would like to have it. So either if you want to copy and paste it into the Squirrel Crew, or you could even put it in like the documents tab would be good. And you can leave it in both places. Totally up to you. It's really not a big deal, but we just don't want to lose that information. Yeah, I definitely want to hear what he says. I'm still, you know, it's so funny. All the work that we put into trying to understand all the special Massachusetts shit with like the all the shit we were talking about earlier. It's so crazy that none of that even was relevant and became applicable. Wild, right? Wow. So what I'm going to do too, he is so smart. I love the shit out of him. Yeah, well said, Fender. That reminds me, I still need to order my goat. I fucking love Runkle, y'all know. I think I am very picky, and I think nobody's hot. I think Laura, you know, is hot. I would say there's like 2 people in the world that I could say I think are hot, and he's one of them, which is really funny. He thinks he's hot. I mean, he gets told that a lot. He's incredibly humble though, and modest. It's incredible. Yeah, Runkle is the bomb. He's the shit. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So what was I gonna say? Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll schedule for tonight. I'll schedule the Trooper Paul. That'll be a good way for us to unwind and laugh after this. And we can also, if there's anything else that happens in between now and then, we can also, you know, chat about that. And I'm sure there'll be some more people available too, because they're not used to being here at this time. So, oh, really? I love the hair. I freaking love the hair. I love the hair. He's a good looking dude, man. I agree. I would like it better if he swore. I am with you on that for sure. Oh, that's awesome. No, yeah, Lawyer, you know, is definitely, in terms of looks, he's definitely more my type if I have a type. I like long hair. By the way, for anyone who doesn't know, I've met Super Planner Girl and her husband and one of their dogs, and they're such a great couple. It was such a pleasure and an honor to meet them. Like, I don't even know how to even say enough words to explain what was so amazing about it. But like, they were just, it's like, you immediately get a sense of like, this is a couple that rocks. Like they were just so great. Like it was like, they were so in tune with each other, and they weren't, you know, it's just funny with couples, right? And you could just tell they have such a great relationship. And it was just awesome. It was like moving on, because you don't see it very often. And my parents were like that, but as y'all know, my dad passed away in 2014. And they were like, there's a lot of people who said they never thought they were going to get married, and they swore off getting married and shit, but that my parents inspired them to because of their relationship, that they were like a real life fairy tale. And so I haven't seen a couple that gave me that type of thought like in a long time, because of my dad passing away. And so, so it was really incredible to get to meet you and your husband, Super Planner Girl. And I'm trying not to use y'all's real names, but yeah, so long curly hair. Yeah, I like the long hair, but that's crazy, Fender. Kitsmits also has a dad that passed away, but I don't know what year. How is that? That's that shared brain cell again, I guess, right? a single offender. Yeah, that's awesome. That's amazing. You are each other. I love it so much. 2000. Wow, Kit Smits. Wow. Who else was it? DSN also, I think. DSN also, I think, lost his father. Oh, you're married, 18 years married. That's awesome. Yeah, yeah, I've been single for a while. You know, it was looking pretty good for Dr. Wolf for a second, and then we all learned he was married. So just kidding. Oh, right. I know. Fucking hell. Yeah, that is 2000 was a long time ago. That's insane. Kit Smits, I'm sorry. Do you think they're going to celebrate the McAlberts? I mean, wouldn't they want a guilty verdict, do you think? Wait on what? Yeah, it's clear that they're all drunk all the time, basically, for the most part. Oh, 42 years. I love that, Dr. Bob. That is so cute. I love it. Oh, okay. What am I waiting for a sign, or what am I waiting for, or just not talk? Because y'all were like all excited about babies and stuff. Oh wow. So yesterday, or do you mean the 1st of next month? Oh, I saw the clip that you sent, Super Planner Girl. It was her. It wasn't with Dr. Wolf though. It was her making faces towards somebody, another witness, the British dude. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's hard. Um, right. My dad's birthday was May 27th, which there was something notable that happened in the Karen Reed trial. I don't remember what it was, but I remember them. I remember that. I don't remember. Was that opening? No, that wasn't opening statements. Anyway, I don't remember exactly, but I just remember that something happened trial wise. I guess this is just the same. They're just replaying it here. Looks like. So let's Super Planner Girl's got to keep her orchids alive and thriving, right? So y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and finish. I can actually, since we're gonna have more time, I'm going to actually tack more on. We'll be able to actually finish to RuPaul, and I'll schedule that for tonight. And so I'm gonna get that ready. I love that, Doc. That's amazing. I love it so much. And Kit Smits is gonna get ready for work, teaching. Love it. So yeah, but we will reconvene, and if there's anything else that happens that's noteworthy, we can talk about that. I'm sure you guys might find out for me because of y'all that do. What time tonight? Let's see. Let me think. My brain. I was not. This is nothing went as planned today because I was still kind of expecting a verdict, to be honest with you. So let me think. So probably 8 o'clock my time. If I can start earlier, I will. But probably 8 o'clock my time. So I don't know what time that is for you, Fender, but that's in like 4.5 hours. Right? Yeah. Yeah, so I love that Kitsmans is married also. That's awesome. Oh, well so you got to wake up early then. I'm just kidding. Wow, 5:30 a.m. Well, I mean, I would imagine I don't know what time you wake up, but I would imagine that probably for the first little bit we'll have more of our school friends with us, and I'm sure we will be just discussing our thoughts of today and all that, right? Before we get going into the Trooper Paul for reals. I'm sure we'll still be going, so you're all good. I still just can't believe that after all that work we did on the crazy Massachusetts extenuating circumstances type of shit with their rules about mistrials and hung juries, I'm still so shocked that it was just yep, it's a mistrial, that's it. Oh my God, it's so funny. So right, dust your plant shelf. I repotted Iris this morning, super planner girl. So all right, this lady. It's so funny. It was sunny earlier there today, and now it's Judge New. What? Did you mean to put a K there, or is there a new judge? Fender's going to sleep. Kitsmans is going to work. Super planner girl's going to go take care of her plants. Are you getting new information right now as we speak? She got the forms from the foreperson. She knows what the split is? Is that what or no? But I'm not sure what she knew. You're saying what Judge Bev knew something? Thank you, Fender. The two medical. Okay. I would imagine the forms were blank. I would think. Bye, Fender. Okay. Yes, I will. We will reconvene. I will see you guys tonight. All right. Well, I guess on the bright side, we can cover the pretrial shit. I mean, on the bright side, Karen seems happy, and so does her defense team. There's a lot of people who seem actually pleased. So we can put stock in that. But y'all are awesome. I love you guys. Squirrel Crew's the best. Thanks for being here and being a squirrel. And I'm going to roll the outro and see you guys tonight.